everyone, it's Penelope, and I want to talk about World First Aid Day. Who ever thought of this day? And I didn't go into histories, I didn't try to find out anything. I just have a connection where I find out special days and events for the year. And this was one day that I thought was very, very important. As a prepper and as a homesteader, as someone who wants to take advantage of sales and deals, what am I looking for? What do I need? What will I stockpile and find on the cheapest? Some first aid stuff will be seasonal, but let's go and I'm going to talk about this. First aid is so important to have at your house, and there's certain things you may not have that you haven't thought about that you might want to try to find. Number one, of course, is wound care, and then you have illness and preventatives, and then you have skin care and other. And other, I'll get to that in just a minute. But wound care, obviously, alcohol, peroxide, wound wash, antibiotic ointment, band-aids, wound dressings, tape. But you also want to think about, do I need a suture kit just in case? Wouldn't be a bad idea. Also, feminine pads make great wound dressings. I mean, fantastic wound dressings. They're absorbent, they're easy to tie or tape on, and they should be sterile as long as they're in their packages. Folded up inside their packages, they should be sterile. So there should be no reason to worry about them giving, infection. Second, ladies and gentlemen, tampons. If you have a gaping wound, say you got punctured by a tree, or your dog got punctured, ran into something and got punctured, or someone got shot. A tampon is it's sterile, it's inside of an applicator, it is inside of a package, so it is absolutely sterile. There's no reason to worry about it being an infection situation until you open it and touch it. So don't touch it. Do your best to not touch the end of it that you're putting inside the wound. Obviously, if you've got a major bleed going on, you don't really care. You just want to get it plugged up, right? So it's a wound plug. Think of it as a wound plug, not a tampon. Because when you put that in, it will start absorbing the blood, and it will open up, and it will plug in the hole. I mean, as long as it's not like this big. They're not designed for that, people. Anyway, they're nice to have on hand. I don't use them, but I do coupon for them because I get them free most oftentimes. So I have a stockpile of them just in case. If my dog were to be running in the woods and say there's a tree limb or a fence post that's down and she impales herself on it, I can take care of the situation, put one of those in, and get her to the vet. Just saying. It's helpful. Think about it. But the suture kit is something you might want to consider if you think that you would have to take care of that situation and no doctors would be available. There comes a time when we all have to suck it up and be buttercups, right? This might be a situation. So having a suture kit is probably a good idea. But also learn how to use it. That's important. Like I told you, the best prep in the world are skills and knowledge. That's number one to anything. Okay, illness and preventatives. When you have a first aid kit, you want something for pain. You want pills, creams, patches, maybe even like a topical numbing kind of thing. You want cold medicine, flu medicine, of course, sinus medicine. You want antihistamines like Benadryl, just in case there is, an allergic reaction to something. You also want to think about stomach medications, laxatives, anti-laxatives. Those are things that could happen that you might just need on a regular basis. But it's very important as a prepper because you're going to be eating out of cans. You may not have the wonderful food. Even freeze-dried food can cause you to have little stomach problems and beyond. You want to go for immunity supplements because as you start feeling like you might be getting sick or you've been around people that have been sick, not a bad idea to have some immune immune enhancers. Vitamins, important. Supplements are important. Supplements. What did I say? Supplements? Supplements. Something else you might not think about. Toothache remedies. The oil of clove, Oragel, Ambisol, or cheaper stuff. It's not a bad idea to have it, because I'm going to tell you something. There ain't nothing worse than a toothache, and you're not going to get anything done if you have a toothache. So always have some sort of topical toothache remedy. Lots of it. Just saying. Sleep aid. You don't think about it, but when your life gets disrupted, sometimes it's nice to have sleep. And you need sleep. Whether it's melatonin, or you want to go into, a more natural kind of thing, or do you want to just go ahead and get some sleep aid? I have sleep aid because I got it for a penny. So, and I also have melatonin that I got for a penny. So I have those things. Okay, Preparation H, or Tux pads, or what are the other ones? Preparation H white pads. Things might happen that you might need those. Now I'm going to tell you something about the Tux pads. When I had my daughter and I had stitches, oh, I was a fan of Tux. I was like a dope addict with my Tux medicated pads. I ran out. I was like, you need to go get me some of these things. And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, now. Go now. So they can come in handy for many different things. They're very soothing in those special need times. Okay, skincare. Some people don't think of skincare as first aid, but I do, because skin is an organ. You have to take care of your skin. Your skin's what holds everything else in there. Take care of it. It's important. For example, lotion. Lotion is extremely important. When you're dehydrated, or, your skin gets dried up, you need to take care of it, because it can cause other issues. You want to take care of those issues before they get out of hand. Sunscreen, absolutely a must. I am of redhead descent. I do not do well in the sun. I have sunscreen. I look and seek it every single time I can. Hydrocortisone cream, very important to have that. Anti-itch cream, very important to have that, because you don't want to be scratching a bug bite or something like that, because then you can get infection. Just saying. Antibacterial soap, very important to wash yourself with antibacterial soap, or a wound area, or even if you just have cracking or any place where your skin is compromised, or just wash with it. It might be a good idea. Just saying. Barrier ointment, such as Vaseline, or Desitin, or diaper rash ointment of any kind. Very important. So if you have a rash of some sort, you wash it, you dry it, you put one of those barriers on it, and it will help it. Very important. You don't want to be galled. You don't want open wounds or sores, so you want to hit it when it's fresh. Lip care is so important. Have the best lip care you can have in your first aid kit, because I'm telling you, that's horrible. Or like, what's the other thing they have? Fever blisters. You want to have that on hand just in case. I hear that stress can cause that. I've never had one. I don't know what it's about, but I would probably seek that if I did, and make sure that was in my first aid kit. Foot creams and powders, very important. Your feet are so important to take care of. Take care of your feet. Make sure you have some creams, maybe some of the foot softening creams, maybe anti-fungal creams, athlete's foot cream, which is an antifungal, and then powders. You want to wash your feet, dry your feet, maybe put powders on it if your feet are going to be in a moist situation all the time. So when you dry them out, you want to make sure that you take care of the skin. You don't want to just dry them out and let it go, because it will dry your feet out. So you want to take care of it. Now, let's see. Some home remedies. Honey. Honey is great. It's a natural antiseptic. It's also good for wound dressing. It's also good for the inside too, to take honey. If you take local honey every day, you will become more immune to the pollens in your area. But you have to do the local honey, your local honey. Like for ragweed and things like that, because that is what they're doing. Maybe you're allergic to pine trees or certain kind of wildflower or weed. Well, they are going to be using that, and you're going to be ingesting the pollen that they have or the honey they have created from that pollen. So there you go. But I think what's funny is that it is antiseptic, and you don't use a whole lot of it because you don't want to be a sticky mess. But honey does last forever, and I do recommend getting as much of your local honey as you can get. If you can find a beekeeper, wonderful. Now, if you have property and you don't mind someone going onto that property, beekeepers sometimes seek places where they can put their honey, where they can put their beehives, their honey. And they would possibly trade you some honey every year at harvesting time if you would just let them have a little portion of your property and maybe do some planting of clover, and maybe they'll take care of that themselves. So that's something to consider if you live in an area where you could have a beehive and your property is big enough to where you can put the beehive away from your house. Talk to a local beekeeper, and he may be able, or she may be able, to put a beehive in your property and then trade off honey. And you don't have to take care of it. You're getting free honey, local honey, obviously very local, and you get a trade-off. That's kind of like the barter system, only prepper being a prepper as a barter system. Okay. The inside of an egg, when you crack an egg open and you drop the egg out, you will notice there's a liner, and you can pull that liner. Do you know that you could put that on a wound and it will seal a wound really well? It is sterile, number one. Number two, it is a natural element, and you can put it right on there and it will stop the bleeding. I have done this and it works. Just saying. Vinegar. I think it's very important to have vinegar, and I also think it's very important to have apple cider vinegar with mother. And there are so many ways that you can learn how to make it on your own in a jar. So great. It's wonderful. Peppermint. You can grow peppermint, or you can buy peppermint candies. They are great for the stomach and a few other ailments too, but you'd have to look that up. So if you wanted to do a complete first aid kit, those are just some of the things that are in mine, but my kit is more of a cabinet. So my first aid cabinet has all of this in it, and then of course I have more elsewhere in my house. So just some ideas from World First Aid Day. You'll have a great day, and be safe and love one another, and hugs to everyone. Bye.